and gentlemen, hello.
That's what I want to hear, baby. Yeah.
I got some fuzz going on in my headphones. Do you hear that, or is that just on my end?
No, it's probably on your end. You DJs, you keep your headphones so loud. It's crazy.
Oh, it's the plug down here.
Oh, dang.
Hold on. Still.
Everyone stand by. Stand by for exciting news and commentary with Over the Line.
I'll just deal with it. Oh, I think I got it.
Yeah.
Still there a little bit. It's fine. I can deal with it. It's not that loud.
All right.
Quick update. Over the Line podcast. We're having to take the week off this week. Just because of some different things going on. Our router last night during the storms got fried. This is like a $700 router. And so, one, it costs money to replace that, but two, we got to get it in and everything else. So no Over the Line podcast tonight or later this week. We will hopefully pick it back up on Tuesday, but I'll keep you guys updated. I may even just go live myself at 6 or 6:30 tonight from my car or something, just to give everybody an update. For those of you that listen to the podcast or watch the podcast and everything else, I'll go live on YouTube and give you guys an update as to what's going on. I know that's going to make some of you guys unhappy and you'll love the podcast and everything else, but there's plenty, as I stated at the beginning of the show, there's so many episodes out there that if you need suggestions on some old ones to watch that maybe you haven't seen, let me know, and I'll fire you off some oldies but goodies, because we've got,
Tons of them.
we got 400 or 500 episodes out there just over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and if you want some bite size, we've got our shorts on the channel as well.
There's shorts,
quick laughs.
There's uploaded videos.
Jumper plays guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, we got everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there, so don't hesitate to hop up in there and get you some. So let me just stay with my thought real quick, because I want to get this out. So I was talking about Iran, bold move by the president. Most of you guys agree with this. Some of you don't, but I'm just, I'm saying, like, this is smart. And yes, it's there's going to be some short-term pain here on the ground at home with gas prices. You will see, although it's not necessarily happening in most places yet, you will see with ships starting to make their way through the Strait of Hormuz, you will see gas prices start to creep down as the price of a barrel of oil goes down. This is all dictated by the market. If the market gets freaked out or they think there's going to be some disruption in the world's oil supply, the prices will go up, as they have. But hang tight, because this is going to be short-lived. And if you know anything about Donald Trump, you know how important affordability is to him for the American people. So he's not just going to sit there and let that happen, as most presidents have in the past. You will have to listen to your liberal friends talk about, Donald Trump has ruined the economy, the price of gas. And it's going to be so short-lived that it's likely not even going to get to the point where it's affecting other things. Usually when the price of gas goes up, then the price of food goes up, the price of goods go up, because it takes gas to get your products to the store, right? It's just common sense stuff. But that does take time for that price to trickle down. I don't even think this will last long enough for that to happen. But again, even though I am the Miss Cleo of radio, I don't know for sure, but we'll see. I'm pretty confident. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Donald Trump's next big mistake if he were to do this. And that is endorsing U.S. Senator John Cornyn in his Texas GOP primary runoff with Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is MAGA all the way. He's the guy that should be the Texas senator. But the problem is that John Cornyn, who is an absolute rhino, has tenfold the money that Ken Paxton does. And the GOP leadership is afraid that Ken Paxton cannot defeat the Democrat, which I guess would be James Tallarico. I guess that's who he's running against, who is an absolute lunatic, bar none, absolute. He's the guy that says Mary had to give consent to be the mother of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's that guy.
Ugh.
But the GOP hardliners, the GOP leadership, the Mitch McConnells and the John Thunes and everybody else, they think Cornyn's the one. So they're pressuring Donald Trump to endorse John Cornyn. The entire GOP Senate leadership pushing him to endorse Cornyn. Cornyn has a far bigger bankroll than Paxton. In Trump's mind, that gives him a better shot to win the general election as well. It's not just the GOP leadership, but Trump views it that way as well, even though he knows Cornyn is a thorn in his side. Cornyn is a thorn.
You're so clever. Darn it.
So Trump definitely needs Cornyn's vote in the Senate every day for the rest of 2026 on a range of important issues, including the SAVE Act and funding DHS, funding ICE. But endorsing Cornyn would be a terrible mistake. Cornyn's a rhino loser who despises Trump and votes against Trump every chance he gets. He's another Mitch McConnell clone, a rat, a loser who always finds a way to hand victory to the Democrats like some Republicans do. Cornyn claims he votes with Trump 99% of the time, but his Heritage Foundation rating in 2025 was 35%. It's all in black and white. It's a fact that Cornyn votes far more often with Democrats than GOP. With friends like that, who needs enemies, right? He's a bum. Kick his ass to the curb. Ken Paxton's the only choice. In my mind, that's what I would tell the president. Except the SAVE Act saves the midterms, saves the 2028 presidential election, and saves America ultimately. Trump, MAGA, and the GOP can win and save America only if we can stop the Democrats from cheating. If we can stop the Democrats from cheating, rigging, and stealing elections, we got it. That's the one thing that is more important than electing Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in this equation. Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. The deal here is simple. It's a win-win. Endorse Cornyn only if Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the GOP Senate leadership agreed to suspend the filibuster and pass the SAVE Act. That's a good trade. Give up Paxton to save America, MAGA, and the GOP for decades to come. I think that is an extremely fair trade. It would almost seem as if MAGA, Trump, us, we were getting the bad end of the deal because we're endorsing Cornyn. But the SAVE Act is far more important than that. And then give the great MAGA constitutional conservative patriot Ken Paxton the next cabinet position that opens up. Put him in the administration. That, my friends, is the definition of art of the deal. That's what Donald Trump should do with this Cornyn endorsement and save the country. Because the SAVE Act is that important. More so than anything else going on. Even listen to me, even with what's going on in Iran, the SAVE Act is more important than that. And I think Donald Trump, I say all this not as a nobody's thinking about this, and please, hear my pleas, Mr. President, but I say it as thoughts I was having yesterday. And I think Donald Trump may be on the same page to an extent. He was speaking yesterday at Doral, and he was at a Republican House conference. I guess Republican members of the House of Representatives were there at the Doral Golf Club. They were talking about a range of issues. Donald Trump's just going on and on and on. It was actually a really good speech because it was so off the cuff, as it always is. And he got to the topic of the SAVE Act. And in that, he tells the Republicans there that I'm not going to sign anything if the Save America Act is not passed. This is my biggest plea. This is what Donald Trump's saying. He said, this is my biggest plea to Republican lawmakers, no matter what, pass the SAVE Act.
So if I could ask the people in this room to go for the gold. We're going for the gold. We're not going for the bronze. We're not going to sign a watered-down version like has been sent up there. Let's go for the gold, and let's just not accept anything else. I'll tell you what, I'm willing to just sort of say I'm not going to sign anything until this is approved. I really am. That's how bad it is. And we're going to have to push the Senate because you have 4 or 5 senators that are, I don't know, 4 or 5 Republican senators. You'll have to explain them to me, but we're not going to get into that. But we're going to push them to get it done because I don't think you can politically exist if you're not going to do voter ID and these things. I don't think the people in this country will stand for it. So I'm making my biggest plea tonight. It'll make you, and I'm not doing it for this reason at all. It'll guarantee the midterms. It'll guarantee the midterms. If you don't get it, big trouble, my opinion. If you get this, your midterms, and they know it. For 2 reasons. Number one, they won't be able to cheat. And number 2, the people are demanding it. Every time I go out, Save America, sir, Save America Act. We want the Save America Act, sir. That's all they talk about. They don't talk about housing. They don't talk about anything. That's what they talk about. And if you send it up there, you're going to win the midterms at levels that you can't even believe. And you're going to win every election for a long time until somebody really screws things up, and hopefully that won't happen.
Yeah. I mean, this is an 80-20 issue. Most of the country agrees with voter ID. So what's the holdup? Get it done. Get it done. This is the most important thing on the table. He goes on, as I mentioned, it was a great speech. He goes on to tout the most favored nation drug pricing. This is just a side note, but this was hilarious. He says, no other president can do some of the ish that I'm doing.
No, I don't want to brag, but they've said this about a lot of things. No other president can do some of this shit I'm doing. No other president. The things I'm doing, nobody else was going to do it. They say it all the time, sir, could you do this? You're the only one can do it. But we got it done, and we got the countries to all go along. Because I said, if you don't do it, I'm going to raise your tariffs to 200%, to 150%, and that's 10 times more than I'm asking for. And every single one, if it took me 5 minutes, that was like a long time. I was doing badly with that one.
No other president could do some of the ish that I'm doing. But anyway, the SAVE Act, so very important. Get it done, Mr. President. Get it done, Senate. Get it done, leadership. I don't want any more excuses. But the problem is, that's all we get out of these lawmakers. That is all we get. By the way, New York's NYPD bomb squad near Gracie Mansion, which is the resident of the mayor of New York, Mamdani, don't know why the bomb squad is back out there. Remember, just back on Saturday, you had the 2 terrorists that lobbed bombs at protesters near Gracie Mansion, and I guess maybe we've got another instance of, another bomb. I don't know. I'm just now seeing this come across the screen, so we'll keep our eye on that and also your phone calls. 205-545-9950. This is a good one. Protecting you, wow, protecting you. I believe in a thing called love. All right, 205-545-9950. It is really hot in here for some reason. I don't know if I'm having hot flashes or what. But I'm like, I'm going to go home and lay down, dude.
Man, you doing all that talking, all that hot breath coming out?
I guess. Again, listen to this real quick, by the way. This is from the same speech in Doral. Um, Donald Trump was talking about how he's a little upset that the military sunk 46 Iranian ships rather than capturing them. And this is the ultimate, like, Donald Trump mentality. Listen to this.
Iran's drone and missile capability is being utterly demolished. The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But think of it. We knocked out 46, and actually took 3.5 days. Their terrorist leaders are gone. We're counting down the minutes until they will be gone. Think of it. We had leaders, and they're gone. Then we had new leaders, and they're gone. And now nobody has any idea who the people are that are going to be the head of the country.
Nobody's got a clue. Nobody's got a clue. Anyway, that was just funny to me. I just wanted y'all to hear him. It was a great speech. Great speech. Let me see if I can get a couple phone calls in real quick. Mike is in Fairfield. Mike, what's up?
Well, I want to talk about something that nobody's talked about yet, and that's this Coast Guard coming to Birmingham Southern, which I think is a joke.
And why is that?
Well, where's the water at? Aren't they supposed to train in the water? There's no water around. They had to go to Logan Martin or somewhere to train. I don't understand that. Florida or on the East Coast or something where the water's at. And if you're out on a luxury cruiser and something happens, you want somebody from Birmingham Southern that's been trained the Coast Guard to try to rescue you?
Yeah, I don't honestly, I don't know the details of. I mean, I saw the story, obviously, but I don't know the details on what type of training center or what type of training that they're going to be doing there. So I mean, we've probably got people in the audience that are in the Coast Guard or veterans from the Coast Guard that could probably give us some insight, but I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I'm sure there's got to be a reasonable explanation as to how they're going to be conducting training. I just don't have the answer for it.
Yeah, brother, it don't make no sense to me. The only thing I can think of is Katie Britt. You talk about rhinos, she's all for it. I heard her on the news talking about it. I just think it's a feather in her cap right there. And they can't get a lottery here, but they can get a Coast Guard training center with no water. It don't make sense, brother.
I gotcha. All right, Mike. Well, I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, well, I mean, he is right in the sense of senators and lawmakers in D.C. do this to put a feather in their cap when it comes to having federal dollars come to their respective states, and that's what senators do. But as far as the training itself, I got to imagine there's a perfectly reasonable explanation as to how they conduct their training or what kind of training they're doing, but I don't know. ChuckDavisLaw.com, ChuckDavisLaw.com. 205-823-9992. That's 205-823-9992. Y'all hit up my guy, Chuck Davis, my personal attorney, and somebody that's going to be taking care of you. That's right. Chuck's going to take care of you, whether you're dealing with divorce or custody or wills or probate or contracts, personal injury, wrongful death, slip and fall, all of it right there. My guy, my attorney, and soon to be your attorney, Chuck Davis. All of his info, as I stated, at chuckdavislaw.com. chuckdavislaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. Man, I'm struggling, John Bird. I had to go in the bathroom during that break and get a handful of cold water and throw it on my face.
Dude, what's going on? Stomach, just head getting worse?
Nah, it's just like overheating and dizzy. It's weird.
Hold on a second.
Don't come in here. Or is he gonna? What are you?
It's pretty warm, but not crazy warm.
So it does feel warm in here?
A little bit.
It's probably these freaking lights, man. These lights are like freaking blazing. To the last caller, somebody said in regards to the caller about the Coast Guard, by his reasoning, Space Force should be conducting their training on the moon.
He's right.
And there's plenty of positions in the Coast Guard that don't involve water. I think that's pretty well known. So maybe it's just certain certain positions. By the way, price of oil has dropped to $77 a barrel. It is continuing to go down.
Yes.
It was literally $85 a barrel just moments ago, I think last hour. All right, let's back to the phone lines we go. Bubba Rumble up next. What's up, Bubba?
Man, Trump dizzles in the hizzle, cooking like a boss, and camel toes at home, drowning her sorrows, binge drinking her cheap box wine. Suck on that, libtard hate listeners.
That's right.
Dang.
That's exactly right.
Everything's going exactly to the MAGA plan.
Yeah, man. We're winning more now than we ever have.
So much winning. So anyway, you got on the national scene and election integrity, the SAVED Act and such. And you can't talk about stolen elections without talking about Arizona 2020.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And by the way, and you may be bringing this up, but what did I see? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. You had in Arizona what was it? The Senate president in Arizona has confirmed the FBI has the records after FBI seized Maricopa County's election records in a criminal probe. You saw that?
That's right, and that's what I want to call about. I think that's a big story for all of America to ponder, because that election was just obviously irrefutably stolen, and the reason they had to steal that one so they could get that hag Haiti Hobgoblin in instead of Carrie Lake and her equally hag Attorney General Chris Mays, so they could keep the border wide open. That was the plan. They couldn't let Arizona go to Carrie Lake because she would have kept that border closed up, and that was all. They had to have that one. So it was so egregious, it was undeniable. And we'll see what they can get done in this investigation, because their plan always is, anytime somebody starts asking too many questions or has evidence in a hearing or anything, Chris Mays sues them. So I guess he'll sue the federal government and the FBI now.
Yeah, best of luck to you, I guess.
Yeah, good luck with that. But I mean, it was just blatant how stolen that election was. You had chain of custody issues, voting machine issues, ballot paper issues, pen issues. They did everything they could. Have you ever met anybody that told you that they went to vote and were told that that they already voted and they couldn't vote in your whole life?
No.
Okay, after the 2020 election, I talked to two people right off the bat that happened to. Right here where I'm at, up here in Mojave County, red as it gets, Mojave County even, they weren't allowed to vote. They went in there and, oh, you already voted. You can't vote again. And it's like, I got my ballot right here. I assure you I didn't vote. And that was just the tip of the iceberg here. That was all over down in Maricopa County where the big cheat was really on.
Right.
And then when people started showing up at the Maricopa County polling centers and stuff, what happened? They sent the sheriffs out, armed to the hilt, to make them stay away from the facilities, including the election service companies that had the ballots in their possession. Now, the one thing I'm wondering about, I'm pretty sure orders were given to maintain all records from that election. And I'm wondering if they're going to say, oh, oopsie poopsie, we forgotten. We destroyed all the ballots. My bad.
Yeah. That's been one of my concerns. And I think a lot of people's concerns in the pursuit to get to the bottom of what exactly happened is they just get out there and destroy. Because I remember seeing, like, after the election or in the weeks after the election, the paper shredders in Fulton County over in Georgia, over at the warehouses. You remember those images and stuff like that. And so you got to ask yourself, when desperate times come, desperate times call for desperate measures. You can't put it past these people to just straight up destroy the records, set a building on fire, or whatever they have to do.
Yeah, we'll see how all this plays out. I'm not holding my breath yet, but I thought that was a newsworthy occurrence there, that at least, the FBI has information in their possession now, and apparently there's a lot more they're going after. So we'll see where this all plays out. But we're owed another Trump presidency, and I'd like to at least throw that out there. Trump 2028. Let's do this.
Let's do it, baby.
All right, I'm out, cuz. Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
There's Bubba Rumble. Barry's in Birmingham. Barry, what's up? Oh, let me try again. That was my fault. Go ahead, Barry.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to comment about this caller that called in about Birmingham Southern property. I don't know where he comes from, but he's got the same mentality that they had about the Atlanta airport when it could have been in Birmingham. That would have set Birmingham afire with success if we had that airport in Birmingham. It would have made the town really grow
to
have an international airport. But all these morons and all these backwards thinking people that thinks just like that guy did, he don't like Birmingham because what is it? It's got a lot of black people in it, or it's got a lot of crime. Well, these are Democrats. Democrats are the ones that's doing all this decadence and deranged syndrome mess. So let's talk about the real facts. The Coast Guard wouldn't buy a property if they didn't have their due diligence done. That facility is going to be done uniquely. It's going to be done through simulation training. So if they need water, they have enough property to have a simulated facility to do that. They don't just buy it because it's a Republican in office. Tommy Tuberville and Katie Britt did a very good job in steering the crew to buy the property. My question is, why didn't anybody from Birmingham Southern go to prison? How do you bankrupt a college? This is amazing to me. In today's time, you have a college that's created in the early 1800s, I believe, and it goes bankrupt. It doesn't make any sense to me. What about the people that mismanage the money? Where's the theft? Where's the talk about that? It's amazing to me. These people, they get up there and they run their damn mouth. It makes no sense. Birmingham is like any other city. It's crime-ridden. All of America is crime-ridden. Why? Because we got dumbass Democrats, and nobody says anything about it. They make everything out of black and white. It should be out of wrong and right. It should be out of green dollars. Everybody producing success. That's what the problem should be. The problem should be about what do we need to do to clean up our town, our state, our cities, all over America, and to grow. We got President Trump. We got the right guy. We got the guy that's on top of the job. But every damn Democrat continues to spew out hatred and to bigotry and to slander and to want to destroy the man. They need to take a Democrat and arrest them. They're terrible. Democrats are garbage. And this man that called in, he's a garbage piece of crap because he what he's intimating is he don't want it in Birmingham. Why do these people think like they think? All over America, we have the same issues, and nobody's addressing the issues. We need a pressure washer and some detergent to clean these towns up. And we need the National Guard to come in and to arrest people. We need to repaint the houses. We need to make America look renew again. We don't need to burn it down. We have to start somewhere. And I don't know what it's going to take for Alabama to grow. I don't know what it's going to take. If you got to get rid of I know the answer to the question. You got to get rid of all these insane morons because that's what they are. They're insane, and nobody's calling them that. These people don't want nothing to grow. What they want to happen is they want it to stay the same. So America looks like decadence all over. If you fly into certain countries, it's magnificent. You fly into America, we got all the freedom, the liberty, we got the place everybody wants to be. But we need to clean our state and our countries, our cities. We need to clean it up. But we need to clean up all the morons and get them out. They need to be put on the sideline.
You know, to the point about cleanliness, and I think in particular cities, it reminds me of a video I saw Tucker Carlson do, I don't know, probably a year or two ago, and it was during the height of, Russia bad, Moscow bad, Putin bad, and he went to Russia. Oh, that's what it was. He went to interview Vladimir Putin.
I remember that.
And so he's walking around Moscow and through the grocery stores and through the subway, and he's describing what he sees, and he's like, this place is immaculate. He's like, it's great. Everything's clean. There's no homeless drug addicts on the street. There's not trash everywhere. He's like, it's almost as if these people respect the place that they live and they take care of it. And we don't have a lot of that in this country. In parts of the country we do, but especially in our major cities, Democrat-run cities, it's as if, they don't even care about their cities or their communities or much less their country, which is a direct reflection of the leadership by Democrats.
Well, Andrew, what you're saying is the gospel truth. Nobody talks about it. Nobody addresses it. We waste so much money in America. Let's go back a few years. We have spent $1 trillion on illegals. You're telling me that we could take $1 trillion and help our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our towns to clean them up, and we would be better off. But we spend it on illegal people coming to this country. It's amazing to me how you take a dumbass Democrat, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, and they talk about all this stuff as if it's not happening. These people ought to be arrested because they don't give a damn about America. I love my country. It's not perfect, but it could be a lot better if we work together. Black men, white men, Jewish men, Greek men, all people working together for one common cause, and that is for the betterment of the country. If we did that, we would win. If everybody can make money, we can live the life we want to live, it would be no problem. But America wastes so much money on fruitless endeavors that we will never see any reward from. You're telling me that I got to pay my taxes. You got to pay your taxes. You got to follow the law. But these people come here and they get a privilege. They get business loans. They get money. They get everything they want with illegal activity. They have a made-up Social Security number. And they go out as a brand new person and get everything that they want. They drive around in $90,000 trucks and cars, and they're illegal. They speak no English, and nobody says a damn word. But we got this moron that calls in to you telling you about Birmingham. Well, you got to start somewhere. He better thank God we got President Trump, because we got a real man in office. We got a leader. We got a man that's got kahunas, okay? And that's what we need. Do you agree with me?
100%. I agree 1,000%. It is a leadership with balls. I think is the best the best terminology.
You can say it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, God bless you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, Barry. Love when Barry calls in, man.
Wow.
He always hits the nail on the head, and he also kind of as my health seems to be spiraling this hour, he's inspired me to push through to the end of the show. So,
I'll check the air. Maybe we
well,
can.
turns out I've got this old man heater that Richard uses over here.
It was on.
No, but it's got I think it's got an air feature. It's not necessarily cold, but it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I've turned it on. I got it blowing on me.
All right, let's see
Maybe
how
it'll
that
help.
goes.
We'll see what happens. And if I pass out, just put a best of, play yesterday's show or something. I mean, we had a good show yesterday, right?
Yeah, we did. Really good show.
Okay. So if I fall on the floor, just play that.
Standing by.
No, thank you, Barry. For real, that was and there is a larger point which I'll talk about on the other side, but just the fact that some of our cities are so just utterly trashed and unclean, and Donald Trump has done a great job in cleaning up, whether it's the trash itself or the crime or whatever, in places like DC, but you still got New York, you got Chicago, and there is a much bigger problem that starts at the top with Democrat leadership that has taken some of our most beautiful cities and communities and turned them into utter wastelands. Yeah. There we go. You got to get the gun cock sound before I came back.
You look like you've handled a shotgun before.
Yes, sir. I've shot at one or two in my day. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Barry, for that phone call, man. I love Barry brings the heat. Every time.
Inspiring. Good gracious.
But it is, and I mean, this is kind of off topic, but he makes the point of, again, the cities, and that's what struck me about what he was saying. I mean, he was talking about the previous caller and, people, and there are, I'm not saying anything about the caller, Mike, but there are plenty of people in Alabama that have railroaded, especially in Birmingham, railroaded some great opportunities over the years. And a lot of it has been due to Democrat leadership. They have put the kibosh on what could be some very beneficial things. Could you imagine the Atlanta airport in Birmingham? I know that'd be a little bit of a headache for traffic.
No, man, because the infrastructure would have changed around that.
Yeah.
Our interstates would look a lot different, a lot better.
Could you imagine the amount of jobs in Birmingham? Not just for the airport itself, but after all of these years, how many businesses there would be opened, how much of a hot spot. With that airport, I mean, Birmingham would have been Atlanta. It would have been that monumental. But it would have likely still been run by Democrat leadership, and they have a way of figuring out how to screw things up. They do. And in their cities in particular, and they allow their cities to be trashed. There is, I mean, in human nature, there is an aspect of, you think about people that rent opposed to people that own. And nothing against renters. John Bird's a renter. But you see in a lot of cases, people that don't own particular things. It doesn't even have to be a home. It could be anything. If you don't own it, you don't take as good a care of it as you would. If you rent it, you don't take as good care of it as if you would if you owned it, if that makes sense. And that doesn't apply to everybody across the board, but there is large sections of society that if it's not theirs, they don't care. And even in the city streets, they're like, yeah, somebody else will pick up this garbage. Somebody else will do this. And it's a mentality. It's really a loser mentality.